turn this on because all my other storage is full. So I gotta make it work. Alright. So, basically when we had got in the car and we were leaving the vet's office, he was telling me not to get involved, don't do it, because it would kind of ruin his whole shindig he had going on with the business aspect of it. So he didn't want me to really get involved with anything, or pretty much anything to do with him. And that right there was kind of like even more of an inclination for me to be like, well, if you say don't do it, I'm going to want to do it, of course. It's just like, it's natural human instinct. And also, because when we were in there, like, I seriously felt like, seriously, the strongest vibes ever. I was just like, oh my goodness, like, and then to be, like, reassured by him that I wasn't just, like, tripping and picking up the vibes, like, totally imagining it, like I was telling myself. I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe, you know, there's a possibility. And that right there also, like, light bulb in my head. I was like, oh, I can't not, you know, like, come on, he gave me his number, I cannot text him. So, and then I was also thinking, like, he is 45, like, what if he doesn't text? And I was like, no, he's gonna text, he's a doctor, he has to text. He has to. And I was like, well, so I was like, okay. And usually, like, I'm never the one to try and text somebody or try and talk to somebody, like, ever. And I do not go out of my way to do it, especially, like, ever. It doesn't happen, it just doesn't happen. And so I was just like, oh my goodness, super nervous to do it. But I told myself, you know, just grow a pair, do it. And if he replies, you'll go from there. Because there's only one way for me to find out. Only one way for me to know is just to freaking do it. So I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to grow a pair and I'm just going to do it. So I did. And I texted him, and the first text that I sent him was super, like, super nonchalant. Because I didn't want, again, like, any, like, big red flags to go off. I wanted to kind of see what he said first. I'll read you guys the starting point, which I know I shouldn't have even done, but you know what, I did it, so too late now. So I had texted him, and again, I don't do that, like, ever. I never am the first one to try and start a conversation, especially with my 45-year-old vet that I just met. So, hold on, scrolling. We have quite a few, hold on. Alright, so I started off, and I sent him, again, super, like, vague message, and I said, hi, Charlie. Shit. I'm gonna take that out. So I said, hi, it's Andy, Poopy Noodles Human, which is my baby. And I put, just wanted to say thank you so much for everything today. I'm really happy that we came to your office. So I said it, like, super just like a thank you text, you know, super just so he would have my number if he needed it. Easy way to slide in there. And so I was super nervous to send it, and I sent that at 1:40 in the afternoon, and we had left there at, like, 12:30, so it wasn't long after. So I was like, I was like, oh my god, I hope he doesn't think I'm super clingy ass bitch. Like, I was just super curious to see if I was tripping or if I wasn't. I just really wanted some fucking reassurance. So then at 2:53, so hours later, I get the reply. And he was like, hi Andy, thank you for the text. I'm glad our visit went well. I enjoyed the visit too. I can see how much you love Poopy Noodle. I'm happy you came today, with the smiley face. And I was like, okay, well, I got a reply, but again, that's super, like, keeping it low-key, like, it's still nothing, you know. I was like, okay, I can't really base it off that. So I was like, okay, do I try and start a conversation? Do I not? I got a reply, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. And again, this is not the type of person I am, so I was so nervous doing this, but I don't know. I had, like, a really weird gut feeling. I just had to go with it, so I did. Alright. So super later that day, because I had spent, like, the day contemplating, like, okay, do I really want to open this door? Because once you open it, you can't really close it easily without it ever remaining a little bit cracked open, you know? So I sent him another one later that night at 8, and I said, I hope you enjoy your evening and the weekend off, of course, with a smiley face. Because when we were there, he had been mentioning that, like, he usually will, if he's on call or, like, if something happens, he'll come in for the weekend, but that he actually had, like, a whole weekend off, and he had a really, like, easy day planned the day that we had went, so he was super, like, stoked about having the weekend off, and he had mentioned that, so I just, you know, again, a conversation starter to see what I would get back, said that. And my phone died, so he probably replied, but I didn't get it till the next morning, and he put, LOL, you remember about how special my weekends off are to me. You made me smile. And I was like, so that's the next day. So I was just like, okay. So I replied saying, sorry I knocked out last night super early, but of course, you're a hardworking man and deserve a weekend off. Do you have any plans, or are you just hanging out for some R&R? So I kind of like opened the door for a little bit of conversation to see if he would even, threw the line out there, see if I would get a bite. And so we were just talking back and forth, and he basically just kind of asked, like, what are you doing? This, like, I'm not really up to anything. I don't want to read everything. And at that point, I was like, okay, the only way for me to know without it just, like, being super casual is if I just throw it out there. And I just told him, like, oh, I'm at home, just boring weekend. This is sad, typical Saturday, Sunday. And at the very end, they put, I know with your practice, you're a busy man on call, but if you're ever are free, maybe we could go do something. I was like, dinner, I'm up for whatever. I was like, I'm just throwing that out there. And I don't, I don't really ever try to, like, say the first thing, and I don't know. I needed an answer. I needed to know what was going on. And so the reply I got for that was kind of like the light bulb, I guess, or the red flag that was like, okay, like this could happen. It could work, That I had to get the fucking answer. I needed it, man. I couldn't just, like, leave it at that. I couldn't. I'm just that type of person where if I get that vibe, like, I have to. It'll eat at me if I don't. So I did. I went with it. And again, like, I do not get those type of vibes ever. I'm just not that type of person. So, I don't know. It just felt like I needed to, so I did. And so he replied, and he was like, I'm up for just about anything. He's like, anything sounds good. I enjoy talking with you, and I'd like to get to know you better. He's like, I'm glad you're not so shy. And then I mentioned how, because right now I don't have a car and I don't have a license for the next 6 months, and he kind of mentioned, like, that he didn't mind coming out here and getting me or, like, going to do anything or stuff of that nature. So we've been talking kind of back and forth since Friday, and it's Monday. And he came to my house because he had to pick up, my stepdad did some work for him, and so he came because he had to pick up the piece that my stepdad had fixed, and I was like, oh my goodness, because my stepdad doesn't know even that we've been texting. They've been asking me because they know that I'm never on my phone, and I've been on my phone a bunch, and they're like, who are you talking to, who are you texting? And, like, they were kind of giving me shit about it yesterday when he was coming over, like, oh, your hot vet boyfriend's gonna come over, but they have no idea that we've even been talking. They were just giving me shit. And so now I'm faced with the issue of, well, if me and him do end up talking, or if me and him do end up even hanging out, because I'm not looking for anyone to, like, be with or date. Like, I know that he has kids, and I did a little research of my own, and on his vet site, there's a girl with his last name, and obviously, like, kids that look like him. So I'm assuming that that's his ex-wife and children, and I think he has 3 or 4 kids, which is not my business whatsoever, especially just talking to someone. But I was just like, okay, well, is he married? But he had mentioned that he was single, and then while we've been talking, I'm kind of getting the vibe that he's, like, freshly divorced. He has, like, the super, like, I just hit my midlife crisis, got a brand new Camaro, like, I don't know, I get the vibe that he, like, just freshly got divorced, because he was mentioning, too, like, at his other house that he has a bunch of pets, and that where he's living now, he's just by himself. So, I don't know, I feel like it's, like, a fresh thing. And especially if that's still up on, like, his business website for everybody to see, but I also get the vibe that, like, the ex-wife is running the business website, or at least, like, part of the business. Because he's had it for 12 years. Oh my god, what the fuck was that? Oh, nasty-ass bugs are. He's had it for 12 years, so he's had it for quite some time. Especially if, like, he has a family with that many kids. You've obviously had something going on for quite a while. So I'm just curious, again, to find out that aspect, but I'm sure once we start talking or hanging out or whatever, that I'll find out the whole story, because, I mean, I obviously have beef and drama and baggage of my own to bring to any type of relationship or friendship, so I'm sure everyone else has their own in different forms, but if he's willing to accept mine, I'm willing to accept his, so it is what it is. As long as he's not with someone. I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't married, and I'm not stepping in here being a fucking homewrecker to a family, but he hasn't said anything. He said he's single, so, and I mean, I asked if he had kids, and he told me he had kids, so he didn't lie about that, but I mean, obviously, if there's kids, there's a baby mama, so that kind of, like, hinted, like, okay, that he has shit going on besides, but I don't know, I just get super vibe that it's, like, really fresh, like, within the past year, 6 months, like, not a couple of years, I don't know, I don't know, I feel like it, but he's also, like, a super good-looking, attractive, successful businessman, so there's no reason that he shouldn't already have, like, been with someone or found someone. Because he's super, like, I don't know, and that type of person that, like, draws people in, So I just think that that's strange a little bit too. I hope I'm not like getting with this vet that ends up being like a player and hooks up with all his patients. Imagine that. That'd be hilarious. That'd be a super low-key way to do it though and go about it, I would say. But so yeah, now I'm faced with that issue, like, well, fuck, okay, if we do start talking, it's eventually gonna come out, especially if my stepdad's, like, doing work for him. And then also, like, obviously, if things don't work out, you don't ever want that to be super weird. Like, I have a follow-up appointment next Thursday at 6, and I'm going with my stepdad for my dog, because we gotta check on her eye, and it's just, like, I don't want to make it weird, I don't know. I mean, I obviously need to, like, meet people and get out there, because that's part of being healthy and sobriety, and he's, like, a sober, good person to be hanging out with, and someone that's actually not just a waste of time, because people usually that are in my age range are just complete fucking waste of space and time. Like, I'm just not interested in it, and that's why I usually don't date guys, because it's just not my cup of tea. But someone that's older and actually into the same things as I am, because the more we've been talking, honestly, like, the more that me and him really do have, like, a lot in common, which is quite strange. So, I mean, we'll see what happens from it, but again, I don't know how, if we end up, like, talking or doing something, because obviously if I go somewhere, I have to say, oh, I'm going somewhere with so-and-so, because they're pretty crazy about me leaving, and it's gonna come out, like, who it is as soon as they see his car. Like, his car's a standout, fucking, you can tell, okay, that's his, because now my stepdad knows, because they've been talking. So it's just like, fuck, man, I don't know how I'm gonna go about, like, letting them know, because he's gonna be pissed. And it's just like, well, I'm not trying to fucking marry this dude. I'm not trying to be with him, even just talking with someone and getting to know him. It doesn't even matter. He could just be a fucking homie to me. There is no, like, we don't have to be anything from it. And I'm one of those people that usually I don't stick with things long term. So I don't want to make things, like, super weird or step in and fuck things up, especially for my stepdad if he has, like, a business opportunity, because this guy has a lot of shit that needs fixing. I was just curious, and I mean, it can't hurt to be cool with somebody like that. It really can't. And have someone to talk to through this. It can't hurt. And someone that has a car and is willing to do things. I mean, everything happens for a reason, and I don't know, maybe this is what it's meant to be. I haven't dated someone for, like, fuck, since Edgar. It's been shit. Maybe, like, 3 years? I haven't dated someone for quite some time, so, I mean, like, actually, like, gone on more than one date and seen someone and decided to see maybe what would happen. Because everyone that I've talked to is just, like, a complete waste of space, or they do drugs, or something that I'm not serious with, But every time I get sober, I always end up having, like, one person that, like, I, like, latch onto, and I don't want to do that, because that's how I fuck my sobriety up every time. I did that with Edgar, latched on, and then I got clean again. I did that with Jensen, and I latched on, and fucking lost that, like, and, like, not even people that I'm dating, just, like, people I hang out with, or, like, I'm only with that person the whole time, and then, like, that really helps me, like, get my mind off sobriety. And then when shit fizzles out, and it's just, like, left in that awkward stage of, okay, like, what now? Then I end up using, because then I'm just in that super bored, like, I want to be social because I have nothing else left to do because there are no drugs. So it's like, it's just a vicious cycle, I guess. But I just don't want to get myself into that. So that's like, and I'm not someone who, like, needs to date and wants to date at all. That's just not me. I really just don't do that. So I don't know what's going to happen from it. But I mean, either way, it can't hurt to have somebody to talk to. And I told him, I'm not looking for anything like that I'm just someone who, again, doesn't try for anything like this, and if it happens, it happens. So we'll see. But I just thought it was such, like, the awkwardest scenario, because now it's like, well, fuck, like, we gotta keep it low-key, but at the same time, like, obviously I want to see him, but he works Monday through Friday, and my only time that I can, like, get out and be low-key about it is Monday through Friday, 8 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. So it's like, that makes it almost damn near impossible. He's off on weekends, which is the exact time that they're off, so it's like, fuck, man. I don't know how me and him are gonna make it work, but I don't know. I want to see him, and I think it would be cool. I think it would be cool to get to know somebody like that, but we'll see. He's the same age as my dad, so it's a little awkward, but I've always been the one to get along with older people. I think it's part of being an only child, too. I've always, like, even when I work with people, when I started my first job at 14, I was working with people who were 30 and 50, and we all got along just fine. And same with, like, all my other jobs or anything. I've always just been involved with older people. And when I have things that are, like, more serious or that last longer, it's always with people that are older. People that are younger than me, I've just never, or even just my age, I've never just really been into it or been able to get along with them or, fucking bugs, have anything in common with them. Alright, guys, I have to go in. This is killing me. There's just way too many bugs out here, but that pretty much finishes out the story. So right now we're just left at the spot where we're going to continue talking, and I don't know what the fuck's going to happen from it, but taking it day by day at this point. And I guess if anything else interesting happens, I'll update this story time. But I just thought that it was the most fucking awkward, hilarious situation, and of course I fucking get myself in these awkward damn situations, but I don't know, it was worth the shot, so we'll see what happens. Alright guys, thank you.